The top three recurring business and operational issues around the customer experience and the move to digital services and digitalization of the consumer bank, where financial institutions across the region are introducing new technologies at the consumer bank location to attract customers into the location, to effectively monetize that interaction, but most importantly retain that customer for their future business. That is through a number of methods, whether it's the provision of Wi-Fi in the branch, remote experts, which are experts available on a video screen, personalized videos where you have a tailored message for a customer using very interesting and proprietary technology, of digital signage, again to, I guess, appeal to a particular demographic within a bank's geography. Financial institutions across the region are spending an inordinate amount of time looking at their cybersecurity policies and trying to understand where the next attack will come from. It is not from the traditional sources, which is perhaps organized, but the unorganized attacker who is able to obtain malicious software, malicious bots that they can deploy remotely without any experience and hope to monetize their attack. And it's that ability to monetize attacks which is attracting more and more would-be cyber threats against banks across the world, and particularly in Asia. Finally, I guess the banks are under increasing pressure to preserve capital, preserve vital capital, and deliver operational efficiencies to their organization and to their customers, but also to preserve capital in the event of a regulatory requirement changing. And we're seeing increasing demands made on banks to ensure that they have the appropriate liquidity, appropriate capital ratios within their financial structure that then actually prevents them from spending in the areas which they should be, cybersecurity and or digitalization, to actually help grow their business. So there's a very fine balancing act between the three that we're seeing across the region. Crime as a service is really a new term, I think, that is unfortunately becoming more and more a part of our daily vocabulary. The feedback I'm getting from our customers or the financial institutions across the region is that you're getting attacks coming from sources which perhaps weren't in the past a source of an attack. And by that I'm meaning individuals as opposed to organizations, amateurs as opposed to professionals. Amateurs are able to literally buy any malicious threat software bot on the net and deploy them without any experience, without any knowledge. And the aim of their exercise is not only to break into a financial institution, but to monetize that engagement. Stats I read somewhere that probably around 2/3 of the customers I have talked to across the region have been hacked at one time or another in the last month. Half of those customers again have been hacked more than once. And we're not talking about small intrusions, we're talking about large-scale intrusions. Typically though with the signatures of an amateur as opposed to a professionally organized cyber attack. So talking with the customers that we deal with across the region and across the globe, their view is very much around how do they prevent these attacks from occurring, not at the perimeter, which is really blurred now because you've got services on the cloud, you have consumers and employees looking for ways to interact with their branch or the bank. So you have a lot of BYOD devices out there. So it's not so much about preventing around the edges, it's about preventing from end to end. And so customers are telling us that they're looking for solutions which stop the attack at the source of the attack. And a lot of clever software is being deployed to look for those types of anomalies or patterns within their network that might not have the typical signature of a cyber attack, but is, let's say something doesn't look right about the traffic. And so then the software basic will start to now prevent that traffic from moving and move the traffic to one side and then analyze it for later forensic analysis, so that they can, again, with the evolution of the threat, understand who's doing, where it's coming from, what they hope to gain, what have they gained, and prevent those types of attacks happening again. It's an ongoing circle of interactions, and it's increasing in speed.